Hey everybody, Johnny Codes here with the next installment of my DND DM Assistant. So this video is going to be kind of short and quick. We're just going over the update method of updating NPC. So right here, we can see that we have all of our, we can get all of our NPCs. Right now we only have Gimbal Gear Grinder in here. So we can uh, get all of this information. So he has an ID of 1. So this is what we're getting done in this video. So we can pass the NPC ID, which is 1. And we can update. So we get a nice response with Gimbal Gear Grinder's updated information. You can see that it was successfully saved. And now, as DM, you can go in and update anything about your NPCs that you want. So to get started, the first thing I did was create a new model for update NPC. It has all the same fields as create NPC out. It inherits from the base character, has ID, personality, physical description, and role-playing tips. So the next thing we need to do was create our router. So we make a put request to API NPC NPCs /NPC _ID, and we want to create NPC out model as our response model. So first we start off with a defining the function. We call it update NPC. We pass the NPC ID from the URL. We use that new update NPC model, and we're going to keep using the NPC creation repo. And right here, we add the NPC ID to the model. And the updated NPC is going to use our repo, our NPC creation repo, and our update NPC method within that class. If we return nothing, we're going to get a 404 error. If that method returns a false, we're going to get a 500 error. Else, we're going to update the NPC. So in our query, we have our update NPC query. We're passing the data from the router, which is the NPC update NPC data model, which has all that information. I went ahead and set our parameters here. Our data name, race, personality, physical description, and ID. Those are the parameters we're going to use to update our NPC table in our Postgres database. So like all the other ones, we get our connection, we get our cursor, and we try, always wrap it in try to catch any errors. So we get our existing NP, we check to see if the existing NPC exists. We get that NPC based on the ID that's passed. And if it's none, we return none, which returns that error in our router. And here is our database execution, our SQL that we're passing in. So you'll notice I didn't like the NPC level 1, NPC level 2 ID anymore, so I went back and just changed everything to NPC. I think this would be easier when we just build and make all those other fields optional on any future NPCs. In the next video, I want to add equipment or weapons for NPCs. But anyways, so we have these columns. We have the name column, race column, personality column, and physical description column inside this table. So we want to set the name, race, personality, and physical description to the new parameters that we passed, where the ID is equal to the ID we passed. So we pass ID 1, it's going to update Gimbal Gear Grinder, because Gimbal Gear Grinder has an ID of 1. And then we pass our dependency list and parameters that we created up here. So there's the role-playing tips. So we had to create a new method to update role-playing tips. And we can go up there. We're going to pass the database and data And we don't need to pass the NPC ID, so we can do that. So it gets passed to the model, so we're going to change it to a dictionary, instantiate an empty list for called role-playing tips, and then for tip and data, which comes in as role-playing tips, with the key of role-playing tips, we're going to iterate through them. We're going to update our role-playing tips table. We're going to set the tip to the new tip, where the ID is equal to the ID of the tip, and we're going to return the ID and tip, and here's our dependency list. And remember, these need to be in order that they show up in the SQL query. So the first thing we're passing is the tip, so we have to have the tip here. Second thing is the ID, so the ID needs to be second in this dependency list. Then we're going to fetch it, and if it exists, we're going to fetch it after it updates. If it exists, we get the RTP data, or the role-playing tip data, and then we append this empty list with our role-playing tips where the ID is the ID and the tip is the tip. So it just goes back and updates those tips if there's any changes. And then we return that list of role-playing tip models so that then we can go back down here in our update method. So this executes all of those. That execute this line 199 executes all of the updating of the role-playing tips. Then we can get our role-playing tips with that function that we created in a earlier video, get role-playing tips. It's this query. We get the ID and tip from role-playing tips where the character is the character that we're updating, and we return the list of all of those role-playing tips. And then we return our NPC out model where the ID of the character is the ID and all that information that we passed comes back with all the information from the character and a list of the role-playing tips, and we can catch the error here. So that's the basics of doing an update method with FastAPI and Postgres. In the next video, I want to either do quests, tying these NPCs to a quest, or a business, and maybe filling out some more information about them, like if they need a weapon, or gear, or loot. Probably go with the quest, so stay tuned. Thanks.